Welcome to I May Be Wrong.
I don't know what this world is coming to,
but I don't think so. We're broadcasting from the greater Nashville area, the home of country music, beyond the borders of political correctness and identity politics. Facts and faith are our demarcations. Truth lights our path.
Here's the Barry White of Podcast Radio,
the Venerable Alfonso Ashworth.
Well, welcome to another exciting episode of Line Chicks, or I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so. Of course, I constantly am running into this issue of where I'm still in that mode of lion chasing. I guess I'll never stop being a lion chaser. Of course, many of you that know me from that program that we were on for several years with the host Lonnie Poindexter, who, by the way, was my very first guest on I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so. If you would love or like to hear that podcast, go to the website, I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so.com, and you can listen to those previous shows. I am the Barry White of Podcast Radio. Welcome to the program. We got a great lineup for you, but let's do just a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Of course, that is from Psalms 118:24. That was posted by one of our chat room members, Miss Akita Dukes Mosby, who is the lead in the chat room at the moment. She is heading up the chat room. If you would like to be a part of the chat room, you can go to the website, I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so.com, and click on the little blue icon at the top of the page, and you can make a quick post. You can join, or you can scroll down and be a part of the broader chat that's available there. And don't forget, we do have a poll on the website. You can voice your vote. This is time to do that. Of course, the Democrats had their debate last night. It was another fiasco. We may have some comments about that during the program. I do have another exciting person on hold. Of course, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this person, Miss Babette Holder. I've known her for a long time. We met during the Tea Party rallies several years ago. We met in D.C. She is very, very active in politics. She is the Republican candidate for Recorder of Deeds in DuPage County. It's the second largest county in the state of Illinois. Now she stays busy all the time, but she works as a political campaign communication specialist. She's done it for various campaigns. She's provided communications and social media service for Senate, gubernatorial, congressional, multiple statewide races in Illinois. Babette, at the moment, is the president of the Frederick Douglass Foundation of Illinois and a member of the National Black Pro-Life Coalition. I love that. Babette has monthly guest appearances on multiple radio and TV shows. She is going to be our guest for this 30 minutes. I wish the show could go an hour. We want to go an hour. We need your support. Look, broadcasting and doing this the way it should be done is not free. Let no one tell you that it is. So we need your support. So go to the website. Please look around in the website. If you like what you see, make sure that you donate to us, help us out. We do have T-shirts and coffee mugs on the website. They're beautiful. They have I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so on them. And also, if you would like to, you can also become a regular contributor to the program. But without further ado, let's bring in the guest for this time, Miss Babette Holder. Welcome to the show, Babette.
Well, hi, Al. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we have talked quite a bit. Matter of fact, we had a great conversation just a few days ago, and we could have went on for hours. Unfortunately, this is 30 minutes, and I want to give you as much time as we possibly can. One, a lot of people, now, of course, the show just started recently. I've been out to the West Coast. I've been out to the East Coast. I've been south. Now I'm headed north. And the first person north of my border that I thought of was you, that I definitely wanted you on the show. And I don't know if I was pestering you to come on, but I thought I'm not going to give up until I get Babette on my show. And, of course, tell the audience, what is it that so I read your bio. What is it that you do that is so important in this time of politics?
Well, usually I'm helping the party and a candidate that's running for public service articulate their message, who they are, why they're running, and where they stand on the issues. For 2020, for the first time in my life, I'm actually running for office myself. So it's a big change. And boy, I picked a big year to run, that's for sure.
Right. So you decided, of course, with the name Babette Holder, that Holder, it has a lot of sway in politics. If you would like, do you want to tell people, the audience, sort of, who it is in your family that's somewhat famous? I don't know how your family reunions are. I'm sure they're very exciting. But you have a relative that's been in the high office, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Our cousin is Eric Holder, who is the former United States Attorney General. That's especially, well, he's been an Attorney General under several administrations, but most people became more familiar with his name in that office during President Barack Obama's tenure. Right.
And we've discussed this, and you've talked about it on different programs I've heard you on. And, of course, that's something that you I don't know if it's something people hold against a certain person for, you can't hold somebody responsible for what another person says or does. But for you, that's been something that have you avoided that, or is it something you discuss if people bring it up?
Well, Al, for years, I've gone by a moniker, the Holder on the right. It's a definite, makes it a distinguish, because people are usually typically, they're kind. They'll hear the last name. Nowadays, it's funny. They don't think about it. I introduce myself. I'm out somewhere. I'm meeting folks. And recently we just had our county fair. And I was at the Republican booth and shaking hands and giving my name. And I don't see where people stop, blink, and look like they used to. Right. But before, folks would say Holder. They're like, you're not related to. And I say, oh, yeah, he's a cousin. And they would laugh or something like that. Or if it was nowhere around where they would know immediately I was a Republican, they would ask me a question, and I would say, well, he's on the left and I'm on the right. I'm with the group that milk cookies and all the good stuff. The most funny meeting I ever had out was with Dr. Ben Carson, and I think it was 2013. And a mutual friend of ours, Star Parker, had a policy summit in Washington, D.C. So I was out there, with my fellow last civil rights co-founder, Clean, and Dr. Carson was one of our symposium speakers. And just being Dr. Carson and the way he is, he decided he was going to hop on our coach bus with us and ride over to the Hill. He didn't need a chauffeur car or anything. So one of my friends called me over and said, Dr. Carson, I want you to meet someone. They were up to no good.
Right.
One of our pastor friends, Pastor Rivers, he said, I want you to meet a Holder. No, he said, I want you to meet my friend. So we're shaking hands, and Pastor Rivers said, this is a Holder. And Dr. Carson jumped. I still remember it today. It's great. That was probably...
And Dr. Carson is such a humble individual. And you know,
He
a
is.
lot of people don't give him credit for that. You know, of course, the left has sort of made him this sort of boogeyman, you know, anti-black community. And all this has come up because of what's going on right now with Elijah Cummings in Baltimore. And I know you got a lot to say about that as well, because you live in, you know, an urban city that's very active politically, and it's got a very rich history in politics. What do you think? You know, of course, we know what Elijah Cummings said. I'm going to play a quick clip of what he said. The audience can listen and judge for themselves. Hold on one second.
Okay.
When we hear about stories coming out from you and your agency that everything is pretty good and you're doing a great job, I guess you feel like you're doing a great job, right? Is that what you're saying?
We're doing our level best in a very challenging.
What does that mean? What does that mean when a child is sitting in their own feces, can't take a shower? Come on, man. What's that about? None of us would have our children in that position. They are human beings. It's not the deed that you do to a child, it's the memory. It's the memory. We are the United States of America. We are the greatest country in the world. We are the ones that can go anywhere in the world and save people. Make sure that they have diapers. Make sure that they have toothbrushes. Make sure that they're not laying around defecating in some silver paper. Come on, we're better than that. When we are dancing with the angels, these children will be dealing with the issues that have been presented to them.
Now, of course, if you've listened to the clip, so you know what was said.
Exactly.
And Elijah Cummings is such a hypocrite to demand that the children on the border get special treatment and at the same time, his community is what President Trump said was rat infested, and that is the truth. The people that live in his district, many of them go without the basic needs. You live in a city that in many cases, you know, has a similar problem in certain areas, especially when it comes to shootings and crime. You as a candidate, how would you address someone like Elijah Cummings? What would you say if you had an opportunity to address what he said?
Well, Al, I live in the second largest county in the state of Illinois. I live in a city that many others would want to live in. And we have a prosecutor, law enforcement. We have a county and township government here that truly understands what it means to be service providers. I'm about 45 minutes on a good traffic day, though, from one of the largest urban cities in the nation, which is Chicago, Illinois. I do advocate, do some work, volunteer with those in the city of Chicago, predominantly on the South Side. I know a lot of the South Siders out there, the activists. Many of the articles you read about the shootings and just pretty much, you know, it's like a desert in some of those areas on the South Side for even them to just get good quality food. You know, grocery stores, businesses are absent. And, you know, there's just these zones all over the city, you know, areas where you can't stand on your front porch and talk to a neighbor without being shot. And kind of, Cummings area, what is he doing for his district? That's what you have to wonder.
Well, the people there say absolutely nothing. I mean, I've heard interviews from citizens that live in his district, especially black citizens, who say, look, he hardly comes here. Matter of fact, he missed an opportunity to take a tour of the areas of Baltimore that need assistance. He refused to go on the tour with Dr. Ben Carson. It's amazing that we're talking about Dr. Carson because he's out there. He come from these sort of communities. He was raised in an environment that was desperate, needing attention, and his mother, of course, raised him to educate himself, to get better. What is wrong in our community, and why is it so hard for our community to even vote Republican? Because that's an issue that you're running into. Tell the audience, what are you doing to try to convince our community, look, give the Republican Party a chance?
Well, one thing, too, is the key is for our messaging. I have been saying this probably since, I would say, 2010. Not as hard as when 2016, but I started saying the messaging isn't resonating and connecting if you're not articulating connect. Now, Trump connects, and people, the left calls him all kinds of vile, vicious names, and, he's a racist, he's that. But more and more African Americans are turning towards Trump. And why is that? His messaging isn't all convoluted. It isn't full of hyperbole. It doesn't have these little, colloquialisms. The last thing they want to hear is fiscal conservative. If you live in a community, it's rat infested in two different ways. One, we're talking of rodents, because no one in the city cares about you, not city services, not state services. And then two, because you got ward bosses, aldermen, and forget your congressman, you got a layer of government there that doesn't do anything except for collect a paycheck, walk around and peacock because they got a title and a little bit of power. When you have a Republican coming out, and they're speaking, about, fiscal conservatism, entrepreneurship. Their brains cannot wrap around that, Al.
Right.
So what is Trump talking about? He's talking about chances.
Yes.
Opportunity zones and economic. Anyone can do this, and I'll make sure I help you get it.
Right. And of course, I want to give everyone in the chat room a shout out. They're posting your images and, of course, giving you all sorts of kudos. And,
well, thank you.
And, of course, you are listening to Miss Babette Holder. She's running for office in the great state of Illinois. And you seem to always been involved in politics as long as I've known you. And, of course, we connected in several different ways during that great Tea Party movement. And I still say the Tea Party movement changed the way we do politics. It allowed people like Donald Trump to have a chance to come on the scene, and people recognize what they had to say because of the Tea Party movement. And quickly,
it allowed Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, Rand Paul,
Mia Love.
Mike Lee, Mia Love. And it also made people realize, you know what? I don't have to just sit at home.
Right.
I can get up. I can go do something. I can pick up a phone. If you are homebound, they found out other ways to contact, reach out, get involved. And it's not just, going after the left. It was holding those that we elected on the right and their feet to the fire.
And also the demographics has changed in politics, especially in large urban communities where the population now is shifted not to the black community, but to other communities. The Muslim community now is sort of taking the lead, and you're in that part of the country that is having to deal with that. How are you dealing with that issue? Because in Tennessee, in Nashville, we have a candidate running, and she's trying to deal with that as well. How are you dealing with the Muslim population and what's going on with that, Babette?
For the most part, they are conservative. And for the most part, it's just a matter of them realizing which party really is a fit for my beliefs. A lot of folks are thinking, when you say Muslims, I know some folks still think, radical this, radical that. But I have a young girl who is an intern for my campaign. She's Muslim. She's very active, very Republican conservative, as well as some of the young folks especially. The older folks are a little more, quieter about it, but they do come out to hear the candidates and so forth. And it's not just the Muslims, we have people from other countries and other faiths that are now, really waking up and paying attention to the Republican Party. The left likes to play the game that they are the party for the people, do everything with the people, but that's not actually true. And I believe a big thing, like you said, is Tea Party, then Trump, but we also have that walkaway. And that has been very instrumental. I know in my area, everyone's welcome to come here. Everyone's welcome to come out to community events in the area. And you do find that a lot of times you have a lot of Muslims who come out, but now I'm seeing people of other faiths when I get to talking to them who said that, they're looking at that left, which has become so radical. And in their minds, they're seeing, even though the left is always making these coalitions based on race, gender, ethnicity, religion, they are finding insulting in a way. That's what I've been told. So, Al, we don't, in the way we're kind of being handed a gift, it's a matter of talking to folks and having an open mind when they're coming over to you.
Right. And of course, the Democrats are the gift that just keeps on giving. What did you think? What did you think of the debate? If you listened or if you heard any quotes from the debate or, sound bites, what do you think? Who has the best chance of coming close to beating or defeating President Trump in 2020?
Well, frankly, I don't think any of them can defeat President Trump. But I will say I found one thing interesting. I don't know if anyone else caught this. I saw a little bit last night, caught a little bit of it. I was working with my team, Danny. It's a female. She is a campaign manager. She is a millennial. She's been in politics. She's actually worked in some instrumental races with folks who have been elected. So that's a little shout out to millennials because, a lot of folks have this image of them. But I found it interesting. I thought that Elizabeth Warren, it didn't seem like she was getting a lot of slings and arrows. And that, to me, that meant that you guys are scared of Elizabeth Warren.
Right. Right. And I think that Joe Biden is probably going to be sort of like Hillary Clinton, the favorite, because the Democrats hate Donald Trump so much that they're going to take any opportunity to defeat him. And I still say Biden sort of fits that characteristic if he can last. I mean, he just already looks tired. And I'm sort of waiting to see what he's going to do in the debate against Kamala Harris. That's sort of the tag team that's going on. But I really don't see it. Maybe I'm just sort of biased, but I just don't really see any of the Democrats because they so far left. There is no moderate, and only the moderates that are speaking up, even they look left compared to Obama. When you can make Obama look like a centrist.
Well, Al, I know. It doesn't it seem like it's been a century since he's been in office, and it hasn't been that long?
No,
because of the quick and fast cultural and society change since then, and with everything that's going on, with the Antifa, and every time you turn around, there is a new name, another group from the left that is out there, and it's not that they're out there to protest or make noise or lobby. They're out there to ridicule, mock, shame, follow folks, recently dumping water on police
Oh, yeah, that's
officers.
insane. Just insane. Of course, Babette, you got about a couple of minutes. Look, they already posted in the chat room that you're running for office. So we're getting the word out there. In DuPage County, the person to back and support is Babette Holder Youngbird. And, of course, tell everybody what they can do to help you. Go.
Yes, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everyone in the Turban. Miss you guys. I used to hang out in there. That's my home, my second home there. If you want to reach out to me, I will hop in and put my email there. My website, it was up yesterday, and my web designer decided to change something on it. So she, of course, I messed everything up. Now she's working frantically, but it's Babette for Recorder, to keep it short and simple, in DuPage County. And then it's Babette at holderforrecorderofdeeds.com. That's the email, and the website should be up by this evening. Al, thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank Danny, my campaign manager, and Frankie, because they made sure, Al, I was already sent home early so I could be fresh to get up this morning.
Well, I thank them as well.
All righty. You guys have a great day, and I would love to pop in, or maybe you'll see me in the Turban again. And everyone just stay involved. That's all I can encourage you to do, is stay involved. In 2020, we will win this.
Thank you very much, Babette. That was Babette Holder, of course, with the show. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. And Babette and I go back a few years. And, of course, we have recently had some discussions about some of the issues concerning why she's running for office, what she wants to do for the Republican Party, and how she thinks the Republican Party can become more mainstream. And I've always known that Babette has been that person. She's never changed. She's never wavered. And she's always been steadfast in her thoughts and her concerns for her community. But I want to thank her for being a part of the show. And, of course, I want to thank those in the chat room for your help on the program as well, because you're able to post information, share information with others that I personally cannot do. Look, radio is a lot of things, but I only have two hands. And, of course, I appreciate you tremendously. Now, this is what I want you to go and do today. One, share the show. You got to share this show. Share it on your social media page. Secondly, you have to make and be committed to something. You have to commit. You cannot stay middle of the road. It's like what Stanley Levy said on the show a couple of weeks ago. The only thing in the middle of the road are the painted lines and roadkill. So you got to make a choice. You have to make a decision on what side what team are you going to play for. You're not the referee. You're not the cheerleader. You got to pick a team, and you have to support that team. So we ask for your support by donating, by buying the merchandise, or get out there and tell people about this program, because we do, and we plan to take this program even higher every week. We plan to do something every week to make this program better. And the only way we can do that is with you supporting the show. I can only do so much as the host. And I want to thank those that are in the chat room for your coming out. Now, if you can't catch the show live, by all means, do so in the podcast. We have recently been added to iTunes, TuneIn. We're also now on Google Play Podcast. We're on Spotify. We're working to get on iHeartRadio. We're on Spreaker Podcast. So we're out there, and of course, the show is being broadcast live. And by the way, we also offer closed captioning for those who are hearing impaired. So you can go to our YouTube channel. I'll post it on the Facebook page and on my social media, where you can go to our YouTube channel and check that out as well. Now, of course, we're coming up on the end of the show. And just like always, I want to give President Trump an opportunity to tell those who do not like this country what they can do.
If you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave.
There you go. If you don't love America, you don't like America, then you can do what? You can leave. And of course, I want to thank all of you out there in the broadcast world. Peace, love, and protect our children.
You've been listening to Alfonso Ashworth, the Barry White of Podcast Radio. Go forth and share his message. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Remember, no two people can ever occupy the same place at the same time. You were uniquely and wonderfully made. Born an original. Don't die a copy. God bless. Peace.